Good morning. Welcome to EDU 3010 week 3. We do have some items we need to discuss from last week, so I'll go over those first. We had a little bit of trouble with the measurable verbs activity this week, so I want to go over those real quick. If you open up last week's folder, or I guess it's still this week until tonight, there was an example of what the objective should read like once it's written. This is so important because this week we're writing the objectives with the standards that you've already chosen for the Lorax unit. So this is the example that's given. Look at how it reads like a sentence all the way across. Most of us got that part, but what we didn't understand is that we need to stay specific to the standard. In education today, everything is about teaching the standard to the depth of what the standard requires. You'll see that once you start going into the classrooms. So pay attention to the standard, because in the objective you have to restate what's expected for that specific standard, not in general, but for this specific standard. So that was a little issue with the behavioral verbs assignment. Hopefully we'll do a little bit better this week when we are writing the objectives for the Lorax unit. So let's go down to week 3, and this week you are completing other sections of the unit plan. So let me pull up a unit plan, and hopefully you have looked through the plan, the entire plan. It is 9 pages long. We've just been working on the top part. This week we're going to get into the individual sections of the unit plan. For instance, I talked before in week 1 about how I color coded to match the different part of the standards. So what you're going to do this week is you're going to go up here to standard 1, and you're going to go down to the section for just standard 1, and you're going to take that standard and write an objective, just like you did for the Lorax unit. So what I wanted to look at real quick is one of the standards. Let's say that you chose this standard here. Describe the characters in a story, their traits, motivations, or feelings, and explain how their actions contribute to the sequence of events. Most times what I see is that we stop right here. Describe the characters in a story, their traits, motivations, or feelings. Okay, that is part of the standard, but you have to remember that you have to teach all of the standard. So the part where it says, and explain how their actions contribute to the sequence of events. That is the higher level thinking part of this skill. It's very easy for the students in 3rd grade to describe the character. They've been doing that since kindergarten. But the addition to this standard is explain how their actions contribute to the sequence of events. So that when you're writing the objective, make sure that you are including all parts of the standard. So let's go back to the unit plan. So you are writing the objective. Let me go back to the unit plan. You're writing the objective, and this week you are also writing the multiple intelligence portion of each standard. So here's standard 1, it's in yellow. You scroll down, you're going to see standard 2. This is where you'll write the objective for standard 2. Scroll down a little bit further. This is where you're going to write the objective for standard 3. See how they're color coded, and so forth. So you go all the way down to 4, 5, and 6. So this is a long document, but now we are completing parts of each. So let's go back to the next part that's due this week, the multiple intelligences. This is where, if you go up and you have written the summary correctly and in detail, this part of the unit plan will be very easy to do. So let's go back to the sample that I have online. So here it says, let find the summary. Let's go back a week. Alright, so I asked you in week 2 to write the summary. So here is a sample of one that was on your week 2 assignment. And this is the summary someone wrote for the first standard. And it's very detailed. It talks about literal and non-literal. It talks about the students will use a T-chart. And then the students will independently go back and complete the T-chart. When they're finished with their T-chart, they're going to pair up with a partner. So if this part has been written in detail, the multiple intelligence is very easy. So let's look at this standard here and how it was explained. And then you go to the multiple intelligences. This is the website that I have online that you should go to. So the multiple intelligences are these right here: visual spatial, body kinesthetic, musical, interpersonal, intrapersonal, linguistic, and logical mathematical. If you scroll down, they have all these other parts. These are not the multiple intelligences. These are different ways that the multiple intelligences can be used in the classroom. So in this section, you are to use these labels. So in that summary, it said that the students would be working in partners. So that would be interpersonal because they're working with a partner. There was also a part where it said they would be working individually, so that would be interpersonal. And then it also said they would be creating a T-chart, I believe. Let me go back and check. It said students will use a T-chart. Okay, so T-chart would be visual spatial because they are creating something that they see. They like to draw, jigsaws, read maps, daydream. Okay, that's visual spatial. So for this one summary, or for this one objective, you can cover 3 of the multiple intelligences. So what you would do is you would go to the unit plan, and for unit 1, objective 1, here you would put visual spatial, and then students will be creating and completing a T-chart. Then you could put interpersonal, students will be working with a partner. Intrapersonal, you could put that part of the plan, they'll be working individually. So that's all that's due this week. You're taking the standards that you selected up here, creating the objective just like you did in week 2, and then go back to the summary and see what multiple intelligences were listed in the summary. So this is just kind of to show you how, if you did the summary and the outline in detail, how the rest of the unit plan will come together very easily. If you got comments about it needs to be more specific, until you go back and do the summary in detail, this part is going to be very hard to do. Because what I do is I go back to what you put in the summary to see if what you put here matches. So again, like I stated last week, the summary and the outline are the most important parts of the unit plan because it's where you do the thinking. How am I going to teach this standard specifically? So for this week on the unit plan, you are completing the objective for all 6 standards. And you are completing the multiple intelligence section for all 6 standards. In the past, what I've gotten is students won't read all the directions, and in this section right here, where it says just objective 1, they'll list all 6 objectives. And they ignore the rest of the plan. So please take time to look through the plan and see the 6 objectives sections, and then the multiple intelligence section right below each one. So once again, what is due this week is you're writing an objective for each standard, and you're completing the multiple intelligence section. The multiple intelligence section is based off what you put in the unit summary. So I hope that makes it a little bit more clear. I don't mind answering questions, but just like students, you lay out all the directions and you give as much help as possible, and then someone doesn't do what they're supposed to, and you end up answering questions that had been explained already. So let's go back to week 3. And so in week 3, you are completing a discussion post and the unit plan progress check number 3. And as you can see, this one is due Saturday. The first initial post is due Wednesday, and then your 2 replies are due Sunday night. What I am trying to do is at the top, I have put a folder that I will put all the videos in and the news forum. So I'm hoping that when you start a new week, you come first to the news forum, read it first. Here's where I can give you the samples. And then after you read the news forum, you come down here to the weekly videos and you'll watch the weekly videos. I do have the news forum post that will be posted earlier. The videos normally aren't going to be posted till Sunday or maybe even Monday, because I like to wait to see how the previous week's assignments were completed and we can make adjustments there. So, like I said, if you have any questions, I'm available to answer questions. And some of you might have noticed I'm not like a lot of the other professors. I believe in immediate feedback, especially when one part of an assignment dictates how the next part will be done. I am working very hard to make sure all your assignments are graded. If they're posted early, I'll grade them early. If they're posted Saturday night at midnight, I'm still going to look at them on Sunday. So hopefully this will help. And when I do give corrections for the unit plan, please be aware that in week 4, you are going to have to submit the corrected unit plan. Or maybe I put it in week 5. Yes, the completed unit plan. So when there are corrections that need to be made, you still need to make them. And the final completed corrected unit plan will be due in week 5. So that's about all I have for this week. We survived the hurricane without much damage and a couple extra days off, which I didn't mind. And we can now move on to a full week. So please let me know if you have any questions, but please take time. Read the news forum, watch the videos. They will help you a great deal. So, have a great week, and we will talk soon. Thank you.